external. And everything you just talked about is all about external eyes. Yep. About if you have internal eyes, now any eye you have, let's say you have an eye of acceptance. Now, if it's external, you're waiting for other people to get it met. So principle 3, you're trying to constantly go get that met. You can't get it met.
I always hear the Janet Jackson song, "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" when these people start typing this stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I could pose the same question to you, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because externally, they're going at you, and they can't get it met. Because externally, you can never get it met. Internal, so if you have that eye of acceptance internally, you internally accept yourself. That's that gratitude. Give gratitude to yourself. You talked about earlier about self-awareness, self-acceptance. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, your eyes dictate that. If you know your eyes and you align your eyes for success, you can achieve anything. I wrote a 7-book series called Millionaire Dropouts, and I listed over 900 people who had no education, very little resources. Some had diseases, bankruptcies. All of them, the only reason why you know the last name Ford, Disney, Edison, Jobs, because they align their eyes for success.
Garrett Wyatt, I know you've been, really wanting to ask a question, and because I've had mic control, I turn you down and make sure I get mine in, so I'll let you ask.
You know, the thing that's funny is actually with the camera being in studio today, I feel like I should raise my hand. Seriously, I kept having the urge, should I raise my hand right now? Is this when I'm supposed to raise my hand? So here's the question, and some of you may, as you're kind of getting deeper in this in the show, we've got a lot more to go, but I want to, before we move forward, there was a question. I've had a chance to listen to Woody live at the workshop, at the Curriculum for Wealth workshop, and I sat through his whole event. And one of the things that you mentioned were there are things that are important to you, and there are things that make you feel important. And I think that I would love to get some elaboration on your point about what you mean, because I find the first time that you were able to articulate this for me at the Curriculum for Wealth workshop, and I was listening to it, it made sense, and then there was some internal kind of almost a battle that was going on, because there were things in my life that I know, no question in my life at all, that are drastically, deeply important to me, but I have other areas of my life that when I am asked or I'm able to do certain things, my feeling important is off the charts in comparison to things that are very important to me. And so maybe you could take a few minutes with what your experience has been and kind of maybe help me, as well as the listeners, clarify a little bit more on those differences of not only is it okay, but how that kind of plays out.
Once again, I'm going to go back to principle 3, and I want people to write this down. Subconsciously or consciously, you'll do anything within your belief system to defend and support your eyes. And you said one of your eyes was to speak on stage, to go to a forum. You said, man, I used to go, if someone wanted me to go to Florida, I'd do it for free. I'd rearrange my entire schedule. Logically, that doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
But because it's your eye, subconsciously or consciously, you'll do anything to get that eye met.
Right.
You said you have another eye, or you're not sure if it's an eye about, my family. My family's important to me. And I'm just going to take a stab here, because usually after doing this, as long as I have, I notice human behavior. I notice certain things. When you came into the radio show, you brought your scriptures with you.
Yeah.
Is God in your faith one of your eyes?
Oh, big time.
Okay, and knowing what your faith is, you associate that my family is very important. It's eternal. I need to take care of them. I need to be there for them.
Right.
Okay, what happens is, and I hope everyone understands this point, and I'll illustrate it in a second. Just because your family is not one of your eyes does not mean that you don't love your family. It's not. You just don't get your juice. You don't get your core energy from that eye. Now, eyes come and go by trauma, so they can at any time be. So, for example, it may not be an eye. I'll role play it both ways. Let's say it's not an eye, but God and faith is an eye for you. So you associate that, my family is part of meeting that eye of God and faith. You won't disrespect your family because it would offend that eye.
Right.
But the act of going to the movie with your cousins is not going to make you feel important.
Right.
But you won't go out and cheat on your wife because that would offend the God eye.
Right.
Okay. So let's say that's your family's not your eye. Now let's say your family is your eye. Depending on your eyes, it only takes 5 to do the exercise, and you'll list them 1 through 5. They're not in order of importance. Okay. They fluctuate and they move depending on the environment you're in. Right now that you're on the radio show, your eye of speaking, entertaining, and being an educator, that eye is coming up number 1.
Right.
Doesn't mean you discredit your family. Doesn't mean you don't love them. You go home and you turn off the character and the personality. You walk in, you love your children. That eye becomes dominant. So they fluctuate depending on